What ruins a movie instantly?
Background actors in fight/war scenes waiting for their turn to attack the main character.
Shitty fight scenes where I can barely tell what I'm looking at.
When the trailer reveals the entire story.
When they repeat the same sentence February 3rd 10 times in the story for no reason, just to have a kind of motto.
When the characters have the misunderstanding and break apart trope. Then they come back together to resolve conflict. I'm so sick of it, especially when the misunderstanding could easily be avoided in the moment if they just saw the simple solution staring at them in the face.
When it's so dark you actually can't see what is happening. Also characters that mumble their lines. Drives me nuts.
Main characters being invincible while everyone else dies from one punch. I get that the main characters have to survive or they wouldn't be main characters, but at least make the damage somewhat realistic.
Breaking the rules they set.
Forced romance. Sometimes movies don't need it, and that's okay.
Whispered dialogue, ear-shattering action sequences.
When people figure out someone's password in literally no time.
When they whisper a super important point of the story, and you miss it and feel confused for the rest of the movie.
That all the major issues could be solved by a simple conversation, but instead no, I don't have time to explain, leading to forced conflict from misunderstanding.
Running through wilderness in heels for the majority of a movie. Irksome.
In superhero movies, when the balance of someone's abilities constantly changes. Especially in fight scenes when a character could end a fight in 2 seconds, but that doesn't allow for an epic battle scene, so instead that character just randomly decided to avoid using their most valuable abilities. This completely takes me out of the moment.
Characters that are brought back alive just to keep the show moving.
Showing and then telling anyway, / treating the audience like idiots.
When there's a scene that's just advertising a brand.
When you know an actor was chosen for the role for their fame and not for the casting. Edit, fixed a word. But holy moly, it seems like lots of people also hate this. Hear that, movie studios? We hate this.
When the heroes survive an overblown car crash that would have crippled or killed most people, only to walk away with a scratch. It's not very realistic, even for an action movie.
Characters acting out of character / being morons just to make the plot work. Immediately makes me see them as puppets for storytelling rather than people, and I stop caring about them.
Poorly fleshed out character motivation and intelligence, like an astrobiologist illogically taking off their protective gear on an alien planet. A real astrobiologist wouldn't do the one thing you're absolutely not supposed to do, and now they're infected. And it was just a lazy way for the screenwriter to get from point A to point B. Poor communication between characters, when setting up or resolving conflict depends on characters illogically choosing to withhold information from each other, because there's no time, or I'll explain when we get there. More lazy writing. The older I get, the more it takes me right out of the story when lazy writing shows through.
Overanimated, overacted friend of the main character.
I will say when they have a whole well-designed space suit or futuristic outfit or something that has a helmet to it or face cover that would normally always stay on or be on 80% of the time, but they just decide to never wear it, or are constantly taking it off to remind us of the famous actor who is playing that person. I've also seen a few movies where a character will have a whole really cool-looking space suit or battle attire, only to ditch the whole thing at the beginning and go the rest of the movie looking like the most generic person ever.
I can't help but notice that characters will often have intense fights and be landing multiple hits on each other, but they will both remain beautiful after the fight. Have directors not seen how people look after a UFC fight? Bare knuckle fighting completely fucks your face up.
A forced romance between two characters which doesn't add anything to the overall plot. Annoying as shit.
When you can't hear what they are saying, so FFS can't follow the plot, and the next minute your ears are bleeding from gun noises, fighting, yelling, or anything loud. WTF do they do that for?
When the story includes, the magic was inside you all along cliché.
Cringy dialogue, takes me right out the scene, in fact I want to leave the scene.
When serious injuries, gunshots, stabbing, hit by car, only affects the protagonists for a second, then they're right back into action like nothing happened, but if you sneeze on a henchman he's dead instantly. Edit, the comments most mentioned offenders Black Widow Starship Troopers, yes it's satire I get it, the public has mentioned it continuously that's why it's here, Netflix The Punisher John Wick 3 Game of Thrones Arya stabbing Prometheus C-section.